Digesting. Well, digesting is used in the California legislature is a word to describe one of the many responsibilities of the attorneys who work at the California Office of Legislative Counsel, the OLC. Now, this gerund digesting comes from basically the action word that describes the drafting of the Legislative Council's digest, which is required to accompany every legislative measure in the California state legislature, whether it's a bill, a constitutional amendment, or one of the three types of resolutions. According to the glossary of terms that is used by the Office of Legislative Counsel, the digest is prepared by the Legislative Council and it summarizes the effect of a proposed bill on current law. It appears on the first page of the printed bill. Now, again, digests are also used for constitutional amendments and the three forms of resolutions. And as mentioned in that definition, that glossary definition, the digest is on the first page of every bill, resolution, and constitutional amendment introduced or amended in the California legislature. It appears right after the measure's number and the listed authors or co-authors and the title and relating clause. So the digest from the Legislative Council appears before the actual text of the measure. And the digest is prepared by the Deputy Legislative Counsel who drafted the introduced version of the bill. And then when the bill is substantially amended, the deputy who drafts those amendments will modify the requisite provisions of the text of the digest to reflect those substantive amendments. So in the digest, it includes 4 digest keys that appear at the bottom of the digest before the enacting clause. The enacting clause you can see readily, it's in italics and it says the people of the state of California do enact as follows. Now, the first line after Legislative Council's digest is always the subject line, and it includes the bill number, A, B, or SB, followed by as introduced or as amended, then the author's name, and then the subject matter of the bill. And then the second line of the digest, which is the first paragraph, it always begins with existing law. And then that paragraph proceeds to describe in objective language what existing law actually does. And the proper practice is to provide something in the affirmative voice. So the OLC attorneys avoid saying something in the negative, like existing law does not regulate the use of widget makers. The second paragraph always begins with this bill would, and then that paragraph goes on to describe in objective language what the bill proposes to do or how the bill proposes to change existing law. Now note the first sentence is this bill would, the second and successive sentences in that paragraph switch to the bill would. And then as I mentioned, the Legislative Council's digest ends with the 4 keys. First, what is the requisite vote requirement? Second, does the bill appropriate any money? Third, does the bill have to be re-referred to the fiscal committee? And fourth, does the bill impose a state mandated local program? So those are the 4 digest keys, and those appear at the end of the Legislative Council's digest, again, before the enactment clause, the enacting clause, and then, of course, the substantive text of the actual bill.